Good evening, this is Jeff Williams from Veterans United Against Suicide. I'm doing my third video at the request of a couple of friends, actually. It's been quite difficult because what to talk about. I don't want to make it to be anything special because I'm not, but there's a lot of guys and sometimes they don't want to be mentioned and one thing or another. But the good feedback is that the reflections have been taken really positively and it's helping. I look back once I was asked to do this and I just couldn't. There's just like bits I can't remember at all. It's just blank. I just honestly can't reflect it. What I have to do is I have to go back in the moment. I've got the ability to do that. I can close my eyes, I can be there. So that it's a little bit more action packed because again, Falklands was a lot of stuff going on, but not always where I was by any means. But one of the jobs I had was the protection of the Commando HQ. And every morning, and if you've been in the military, you know where I'm coming from. We were getting up just before first light. I can't remember what the time was. It was early and it was bloody freezing. And to actually get out of your trench or wherever you was an effort, honestly. It was absolutely bitterly cold. Like I say, anyone that's been down the Falklands will understand that. It's just a weird cold. It's a wet cold. It just goes all the way through you. It was colder than it was in Norway, but Norway was a dry cold, as I was explaining to somebody yesterday. But anyway, we get out and being the corporal, senior corporal guy, I say it was like, right, stand to. So quickly around the trenches. Come on, guys, come on, get in your fire positions and all the rest of it. And we had a forward machine gun post. Now, on this particular morning, the guy who was in the same slit trench as me was a bloke called Chris Perks. I used to call him Eyeball. And he went on to become a very successful PW, platoon weapons instructor. He was a great bloke, Brummy as well. And he was on watch, and I crawled down to where his position was, and there was this really, really low mist. Now, when you stare, it plays tricks on you, and even little bushes look like people moving, sheep, people moving, and especially when you're on edge. And Chris was there, and he said, "I've had a bloody awful watch." He said, I've nearly fired the bloody thing about 5 times. Well, I said, right, fire discipline, mate. Make sure you ID the target. Don't be shooting any sheep or anything like that. And so I crawled down, and the mist was really low. It was virtually on the ground, and it was just starting to lift. And Chris's eyes were a lot more used to it than me. It wasn't first light. It was just starting to just go from like a dusk, a dawn, sorry. And I looked across and I went, "What's that there, Chris?" And he goes, excuse my French, he went, "Fuck me." He said, "It's a patrol." Could just see one bloke. Well, not even a full bloke. It was like a little tiny bit of a bloke, we thought. Then we convinced ourselves it wasn't. Then the mist went down. We couldn't see him again. It was like, what's going on? So anyway, lifted again. And then we saw 2 guys. Well, that was it. Straight on the radio. Are there any friendly forces to our front? No friendly forces to our front. I thought, right, here we go. So pulls right up back next to Chris. Puts me out hand over his shoulder. I said, right. So let's see how close we can get to, and we'll take as many out as we can. So they're not walking straight towards us, they're walking across us. And they're well spaced out. And can I see 2? And then a third guy started coming into view, and I thought, there's a whole patrol here. But I couldn't see more than, I think 3 was the most we ever saw at the initial stages. So the heart starts beating a bit, and Chris is like looking for me to say, open fire, whispering down the line, enemy to your front, enemy to your front. It was really tense stuff. And so radio backed again. I said, can you just confirm there's no friendly forces to our front? Because I just don't feel they're Argentinians. And bloke went, no, radio message come back from duty officer. No, definitely no friendly forces. We've just checked again. So I thought, right, okay, then let's go for it. So I goes back to Chris, said, right, come on, get ready. And I just knew it was wrong. So I said, stop. I said, I'm gonna go back to tradition here and go, halt, who goes there? And then I thought, no, I'll probably get shot if I do that. So I waited and I waited and I waited. And it was only because the first guy looked like a British troops. He just looked British in that the webbing he had on. I'm sure he was carrying an armour light or whatever it was. But it just, it just didn't look like, and he was moving very tactically. So I didn't open fire. And thank God I didn't, because it was an SAS patrol coming back in. They had a contact. They'd lost all their kit, because what they did, they stored the kit for the attack, and then something had happened or whatever. I can't remember that. There was a lot of urban myths about it, but we didn't open fire on them. And as the guy come close, I went, oi! And he went, British. And I went, what you doing? He said, we don't, he said, I'm Corporal so-and-so or whatever. And I said to him, I nearly shot you, mate. I said, was that bloody close? It was unbelievable. I said, my finger on the trigger. We're going for it. That was the one. I was really lucky. I said, we found out afterwards it was an SAS patrol. And they had, because they had to grind the Bergens, and then they never got back to them for whatever reason. And like I said, they would come back to us. They come through our lines, back to Commando HQ, and then they went back down the line and got sorted out, and then we were back in the action. So that was one that was really close to what we call a blue on blue. Very, very close. The second story I can tell you about was when we were on top of Mount Kent. We just finished, and this is no word of a lie. People think you exaggerate, but we used to do a 20-hour day. If we weren't moving kit, we were patrolling, we was always doing something. Helicopters coming in, taking the bloody shells down to the battery. We were just in the valley below us, or alongside us, sorry. It was horrendous. We were absolutely knackered. And I thought, right, we can get our heads down. Nothing likely to happen. We'd done the clearance patrol and everyone was getting their head down, except for the guards and that. So just getting my head down, and Colour Sergeant, I can't remember his name, I think it was Blondie we called him. He come running over and he goes, Corporal Williams, where are you? I went, here. He said, get the defence troop scrambled quickly. I said, what's the matter? He said, just come on the radio. The Argentinian Special Forces have just boarded 2 helicopters and they're heading towards us. I thought, great. So this little story is called the Snap Ambush, because it was snowing. That's the funny thing about it. So I run around all the guys. I said, right, come on, get over here. Right, quick brief. I said, I'm not going to give you a NATO set of orders. We've got to move quickly. Apparently, there's 2 helicopters full of Argentinian Special Forces been spotted boarding the aircrafts, and they're heading down the valley towards us. It's a likelihood an assault on Commando HQ. So we need to set an ambush. Now, I knew that top of that mountain like the back of my hand. I walked around it so many times, and there was one area which I always felt, if anybody knew the mountain, that's the way they would come. Because the rest was quite open and you could see them for miles. But there was this like cliff face. And while disciplined troops could get up there, no problem. So anyway, gets all the guys, right, this is what do we take with us? I said, nothing, just take your bloody grenades, all your ammo, or take the GPMG, and you know, your SLRs and stuff. So, yeah, okay, where are we going? I said, just follow me. So off we went in this long, little snake of people crawling along to this advantage point, which is the way I thought they would come. So we set this ambush up, and it was, again, if you've ever been in an ambush or set an ambush up, it is quite exciting and it's quite frightening as well. So anyway, we got this ambush all set up, and we're all in touching distance of each other. So I can touch the bloke next to me if I feel it, and I can pass the message on. And the same amount of guys. I had the machine gun, the GPMG right next to me, and we're ready for it. Anyway, next thing I know, hear this noise. I thought, shit, they're coming. They're coming up the way I thought they would come, because it's the only way they could come undetected. Anyway, so I kept hearing this noise. It's getting louder and louder. Then it started to snow. I looked at the bloke to my right. I think it was Dickie Parker, if I remember rightly, or it might have been Big Taff. It might have been Big Taff, I think, actually. And he had his Arctic hat on with the floppy side things, the old deputy dog thing. And I looked at him, and he must have had about that much snow on the top of him. It was bloody freezing, and he was jittering, and he was like, I hope they come soon. He said, I'm not going to be able to press this trigger. My finger's bloody frozen. I said, keep me in your pockets, mate. We'll be all right. Anyway, cut long story short, they came up the hill, and guess what? As soon as they broke cover, it was a goat or a sheep or something. So we nearly shot a sheep. Anyway, a couple of minutes later, I hear another noise coming from the right, and it was our colour sergeant. Now, he didn't know where I'd gone, because it was just instant. You know, he couldn't muck about. He just said, right, you know, get a defensive position, like an ambush position sorted. But he didn't know where we was. So I hear this bloke walking around, and I think, oh, bloody hell, that's definitely a bloke. And then all of a sudden, in front of us and to the right, I hear this bloke going, Corporal Williams, where are you? I went, over here, colours. He come over, he said, bloody hell, he said, stand down. I said, what do you mean stand down? He said, they ain't coming, they've gone somewhere else. I said, oh, okay, that was good. So there's two little quick stories there. No bullets fired in those particular examples, but, you know, there could have been a disaster with the SAS patrol for sure. And the sheep, we could have had lamb chops, but they never arrived. Eventually got the guys together, right, come on, we're going to go back. We're all covered in snow, absolutely covered, piss wet through, because it was thawing on us as we were in this position. And then we got back and had to make a report to the CP command post exactly what had happened. So that's two other little stories you might want to add to your repertoire. I'll think of some more, I'm sure, over the next 24 hours. Comments are interested, you know, if people are interested. Hopefully, I'm looking forward to going to a Falklands party of some description, celebrating the 40th year later on. I'm hoping to get back down to Bickley, if I'm honest with you, because I'd like to be back with the guys that I serve with, but that's where we are. So sorry, that's 15 minutes today, but, you know, do not underestimate what the guys did down in the Falklands. The Navy guys, the Air Force guys, that we had a couple of scimitars, if I remember rightly, down there. The SAS was superb, but the paras were absolutely brilliant as well. You know, there's a lot of rivalry between the Royal Marines and the paras. It don't exist as far as I'm concerned, because I've seen them operate, and they're superb. You know, so committed and so deadly. It's unreal. And of course the Corps. But I think the thing that always stuck in my throat was the lack of medals that were given out. And I remember when we got back, somebody mentioned it, somebody raised the issue, and they came back, and I had a glowing report from the Falklands. I've got it somewhere, I might show it, yeah. And the CO, not CO, the company commander wrote them, and he said, your credit to the Royal Marines. Said, oh, yeah, well, we all are. And he said, there are no medals being given out because all you did was what we would expect from a Royal Marine, which was praise in itself. There we go. All right. Look after yourself. Thanks very much. Love you lots. Bye-bye. Bye.